Final Fury video was a success. Guess we made the right call to postpone Wave 9's review, huh?
Yeah, that's true, but this puts us behind schedule, and I'm talking way behind.
Well, doesn't mean we can cut corners. We do have our standards.
Yep, let's get this over with. And now, live from the red carpet, we have Wave 9 figures. Hello everyone, this is KID, the man, bringing you guys another figure review of the Hasbro's Power Rangers Lightning Collection, Wave 9 figures. First off, there's really nothing special about this wave of figures as Hasbro is still trying to release figures to complete the teams. However, there is a particular figure here that does not belong in a team. But we'll get to that later. With these 4 figures and their respective accessories, we have a lot to go through. Since 3 of the figures here are Ranger figures, they have the standard articulation. However, I am glad that we are getting figures to slowly complete the teams. So instead of reviewing them by wave and being late, since Asian countries get them a bit later than the rest of the world, I'm thinking maybe I can review these figures as a team once they are completed. What do you all think? Would you like to see that instead? Of course, I can't guarantee that every wave will have the same Ranger figures, since similar to this wave and the upcoming Wave 10, we'll be getting a wild card type of figure, like the Phantom Ranger and the Tenga Warrior. So perhaps I'll just make an individual figure review for that instead. Reason being is because sometimes these wildcard figures are different as they might be using a different body mold, or having an extra attachment to their bodies which might hinder the articulation. So we may be spending more time looking at their details other than the regular figures. In today's case, this would be the Tenga Warrior with a new body mold, making it completely different than the rest of the Rangers. Now, just like every other video, let's change the format and let me know how you all like it. Let's start off with Carlos, in Space Black. One of my favorite Ranger suit designs from the series. Carlos was iconic when he had a team up with Adam, the Mighty Morphin Black Ranger. Not only is the color black perfect for an in-space team, he did have some interesting story arcs from the series. The helmet design is painted on nicely, a thick white outline for the top of his helmet, the visor on mine is slightly dented, and the yellow rectangle is molded and painted on the helmet too. As for the torso, it's pretty good, except for mine as the team colored boxes is slightly off-centered. The yellow on his neck is painted nicely, plus it's aligned perfectly. A shiny logo on the belt and pretty standard boots. He comes with weapon holding hands, a fist, a right posing hand, the Astro Blaster, the very long lunar lance, a purple slashing effect piece, and his head. The head is nicely sculpted and detailed to capture the looks of Roger Velasco, which includes a nice short ponytail. The lunar lance is a simple design with a metallic silver paint on the lunar part and the pommel. As for the effect piece, it's slightly complicated, but you'll have to slide one side of the lance in first, then lift and place the other side on it. Now you can have Carlos slashing his opponents. However, this does make it look like a side weapon though. Seeing as we have other Space Rangers, let's take a look at Carlos with Andros and Ashley. When comparing Andros and Carlos, the team colors are properly centered on red while black is slightly off to the right. The opposite can be said for the yellow collar, where Andros is off-centered while black is perfect. Since the helmet is black, a white panel line is needed for the top of the visor, although I do wish it was slightly thinner instead of what we got here. Just like Andros, the logo on the helmet is a solid gold block, whereas Ashley's helmet, the logo is molded on. I don't know what's wrong with that. And we have slight differences due to the figure's gender. Kai, on the other hand, also had an interesting episode. I'm not 100% clear on the details, but he had to trust his instincts to go against his superior officer's orders, which was a good decision as his superior was mind-controlled. The figure, however, is amazing. Nice helmet sculpt with the ears on the side, the yellow for the gorilla eyes is a nice touch, shiny silver on the faceplate and mouthplate. For the neck, they painted the blue collar. The torso, nice white plastic with the black streaks painted. Mine has a few scratches though. Shiny gold paint on the belt logo and the paint on the forearms and boots are nicely done. He comes with weapon holding hands, a fist, karate chop hand, a nice and accurate Quasar Saber, a holstered Quasar Saber, trans dagger in claw mode, a standard sword lightning effect piece, and his head. To put the effect piece is pretty simple. You just gotta slide it in between the gaps, just like every other effect piece. The holstered Quasar Saber looks like it's molded in a white plastic and painted in gold for the respective areas. You can easily slip it into the figure's holster and not worry about losing it. The trans dagger is a solid grey plastic with some nicely painted details. Seriously, how does Hasbro do it? And his head is sculpted quite accurately as it resembles Kai, from the messy hairstyle to the Asian features. The only figures we can compare Kai to are the two different Red Rangers. They have the same shade of silver and helmet detail for the regular release. Same gold paint shade for the belt, slightly darker gold and silver colors for the 2-pack Leo. Since I covered the differences in my previous video, you can check him out there. The regular release holstered saber has one slight difference, and it's the back of the saber not being painted accurately. At least the standard one is correct in both the front and back. As for Bridge, we finally get our last male ranger of the SPD team. Seeing as it's a repaint of SPD Blue with a different helmet, you can expect him having the same accessories as Sky. I was honestly looking forward to a buttery toes accessory and a new hand accessory when he says the line buttery, but I guess that's too much work for Hasbro to make. Well, at least the figure is released and all we gotta do is wait for Z to arrive. The helmet sculpt is nicely detailed for you to differentiate that this is SPD Green, along with some nice paint apps throughout the helmet. The white outline is elegantly painted on the top of the visor, which is a nice attempt, as they tried to paint it along the race part of the helmet. Other figures may vary. His helmet logo is painted differently now, as it's black throughout with silver on the dog. You can try to paint the police part silver if you so prefer. The neck collar is painted in silver, right badge shoulder is molded in along with the SPD text printed on. The number 3 is painted on nicely. Standard belt similar to SPD Blue, you can see the text on it, and you also have your standard boots. He comes with weapon holding hands, SPD license holding hand, karate chop hand, Delta Max knuckle, holstered baton, the extended baton, a shooting effect piece, the SPD morpher, and his head. If you know and seen my previously reviewed versus 2-pack Wave 1 review, you'll know how to place the baton into the knuckle, and putting in the effect piece should be common knowledge by now. His head sculpt, however, doesn't really look much like Bridge from the show, but instead of a much older version perhaps. When comparing Bridge to Jack and Sky, there's bound to be a handful of differences. The silver on Jack's helmet looks a bit dull, and the helmet logo is painted silver. The red sirens are a part of the plastic, and the silver on the visor is painted perfectly. Just like his belt, you can paint in the details on Bridge. You can also panel line the shoulder badge with a fine tip marker. As for Sky, his helmet is overly painted in white, which is difficult for the machine to do. The weapons are the same with only minor paint differences, or maybe I should say obvious paint differences, in both the Delta Max knuckle and the extended baton. There's no red paint on the dots like Sid's knuckle, and finally another major difference in the SPD morphers. Last but not least, the moment you all been waiting for, the one, the only, Tenga Warrior. The announcement of this figure was a big surprise, as everyone was well aware that Hasbro's priority was to finish off the existing teams, and this may not be a part of the plan, but it was a very welcome figure indeed. It's like Hasbro saying, if this wave doesn't sell well, at least we have an army builder to carry the wave. And spoiler alert, I bought 2. The figure itself is well sculpted and painted like no one expected. We have various amount of shading throughout the figure. The beak is painted amazingly. The eyes look dead and cold. He even has a metallic green highlights for his hair and neck feathers. The body mold is new, as you can see from the feathers molded in throughout the entire figure. The purple armor even has some gold dry brushing on it. His thick thighs has that metallic green highlights. What more do you want? His feet to be nicely molded like crow's feet? You got it. His hands or talons look old and wrinkly with claws coming out of it. So he comes with his talons, fists, a Tenga egg, 4 short feathers, 4 long feathers, and a white wrapping effect piece. The Tenga egg is hollow and it has some nice detail on the outside of the shell. It even has 2 awkwardly placed holes where you can't place it in one of the hands, but you can make him hold it with 2 hands. There are holes and indents in the arms of the figure. If you take a closer look, it's not a clear empty hole, but it has a few raised patterns in it. The wings also have an L and R symbol on them, just in case you don't know which wing should go into which hole. I never thought I'd say this in a figure review. Once you know which wing goes into which hole, you can now have the Tenga Warrior in his flight form. And if you were to use the shorter wings and replace his hands with the fists, then you have the Tenga Warrior in a melee form. If you want to be unique, you can mix and match the wings accessories to make your own special Tenga Warrior, which in my case, I may need to get 2 more. So all in all, Wave 9 is pretty basic and pretty exciting at the same time. It has every unique figure from any team for anyone to collect. Be it from In Space, Lost Galaxy, SPD, or even an army builder of the Tenga Warrior. Like I mentioned earlier, I plan to put upcoming Wave figure reviews on hold just so that we can have a full team review. But if there's a wildcard type of figure, then I may reconsider. But we'll have to wait until that happens. Until then, how do they look on the shelf? So if you like this video, blast that like button, leave a comment down below, let me know if you like the plan that I intend to make for future videos, share this with your friends and family if you like this review format, and feel free to subscribe, as a large percentage of you watching my videos aren't, and it will greatly help the channel. This is KID, I'm the man, and I'll see you guys next time.